Right, and welcome to Rickmansworth. And this is a actually very nice station on, well, as you can tell, the Metropolitan line of the London Underground. It's not really underground though, is it? But it's a nice station. It sort of gives rural branch line vibes, but tell me what you think of the station in the comments. What station does this remind you of? I personally can't really draw a comparison, but it's nice. It does give rural, middle of nowhere branch line vibes.
Definitely, and the reason why, because we're going to be exploring all the stations on this part of the Met line.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we couldn't. All the stations further south than Rickmansworth, we cannot visit today. Oh, no, we can, but just not on the tube. And the reason why is because this Metropolitan line decided it wanted to fuck itself in the arsehole. So unfortunately, we're only doing Rickmansworth North. So any station between here and north.
Yes.
Because that's all we can do,
But,
especially Chesham.
But this is actually sort of a blessing in disguise, because this is the main crux of the video. Because what this video is, we are going to be exploring where the London Underground Metropolitan line becomes a regional commuter train. And we'll explain it more when the video gets going. So I think without any further ado, let's hop on the next northbound train.
Which I think might be that one. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll go find out.
We'll go find out.
Yeah, come on.
Chorleywood, and all I'm gonna say is this beats Rickmansworth by a mile.
It like literally does.
Like Rickmansworth, I apologize for giving you so much praise earlier.
It's a shithole, Rickmansworth. This is much better.
Gorgeous. This is a lovely little rural regional station.
You know, fuck Rickmansworth.
Yeah,
okay?
More like Dickmansworth.
Yeah, fuck that station. We don't need that station. This one's much nicer. Like, look, you've got the shrubbery here. You can't see, but over there's a lovely signal box, an original one.
Some B-roll.
Yeah, well, I don't actually know if it's still used. Probably not. Doubt it. An actual station roof.
Yep.
Like, you know, the original one, which is great. And just in general, this station is relatively quaint. Like, really, really quaint compared to the other station. Much nicer. Definitely one you would not think is on the tube. It kind of reminds me of a couple of the small little New Forest stations, which are also really nice and nice and quaint. But wonder what you guys think of this station. What stations you would compare it to?
Yeah, it is really, really, really nice. And you really just wouldn't think that, like, oh, you'd get off at this station, looking at everything, you'd be like, oh, this is a nice little rural station in the middle of nowhere. London Underground roundel.
I know, right?
It's wild.
Yeah, whoever decided to not give this to Chiltern, I don't understand.
And speaking of Chiltern, this is where we're going to mention. So this is the really interesting part of this line. It is one of the rare places where the London Underground runs on the same tracks as National Rail. The only other place I can really think of is the Watford DC,
Right.
where Bakerloo shares with the Watford DC line.
Which is also run by very shit trains.
Yeah.
You can't forget the 7 trains are pretty shit.
Ooh,
You don't want to think about 710s.
Ooh.
No, they're pretty fucking awful.
710s when I get you. 710. Send them straight to Newport Sims, please, TfL. Thank you. Anyway, that's my job at TfL gone. Yeah, so what makes this interesting is we do actually run on the same tracks as National Rail. Now, Chiltern Railways runs their Class 165 DMUs on this line, and they run all the way up to Aylesbury, where the Metropolitan line used to run to. They run the fast service, so it stops at every single stop that we're stopping at today on the Met line. But from here, so from Rickmansworth to Harrow-On-The-Hill, it runs fast, whereas the Met line stops everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave the station at Chorleywood. We're going to be doing this pretty much every station on the line, just having a look around the local area a bit. So I think without any further ado, let's go and leave the station and have a look around Chorleywood.
Great, let's go.
Let's skedaddle, skadoodle, your dick's now a noodle.
I beg your pardon.
Right, and we're here in this sort of little enclave in, what's it called? Chorleywood? That's it, Chorleywood. Yeah. Now, I wanted to leave Chorleywood to go and see if there were any Chorleys in the wood. There weren't any Chorleys in the wood, but I tell you what there was. There was a Pokemon card shop and a co-op. Unfortunately, there's no pub.
There's no fucking pub. And honestly, that's made me pissed off because...
Hello, shop.
166. That's pissed me off quite royally because how I rate a station, if they've got a pub within a 5-minute walk of the station, I like the station. There is no pub within the 5-minute walk of the station, so it's great. I love it, but I've got to mark it down by 1 because of the lack of pub.
Yeah.
So I've had to settle for a packet of these and a Mountain Dew instead, which is rather disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing.
In hindsight, though, the station itself, pretty nice.
The station
very
is
nice
station.
Nice,
yeah.
The village, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, we've got this nice little
It's all right. It's not like brilliant, but you know, it's quietish. Quite quiet to have a train station, if I can be honest.
Yeah.
You would expect this place to not have a station.
Mm.
It's one of them little villages where you are surprised that it has a rail service at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Not really sure. It's the kind of place I can imagine Beeching would have fucked up if this was not part of the tube.
Yeah, so for that we're glad it's on the Met line.
Yeah.
But also now that Beeching is gone,
very much dead.
Does it really belong on the London Underground? That's what we've got to ask.
This is with most of the stations we're going to visit. I reckon they're going to have the same answer.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, as we mentioned, apart from there being no pub, there are general like eateries and businesses. There is a Pokemon card shop that was opened by these Pokemon YouTubers. The co-op is actually quite a nice, clean, almost seems new interior on the co-op.
Compared to the A&E news agents there, for your emergency alcohol and news related requirements.
Yeah.
It says Chelsea graffitied on it, so I think there might be some football hooligans.
Anyway, we're going to head back to the station. We're going to get on the train.
I think we should.
And we will see if it is a blue or a red train.
Oh yeah, we get on anyone.
Yeah, roll it up. can't find anywhere to prop the camera up, so I've got Jack to be my cameraman.
I'm such a good cameraman, kind of. So we're at
Chalfont and Latimer.
Chalfont and Latimer. Oh look, there's a train.
It's kind of a mixed bag, Chalfont and Latimer. I'm gonna be honest. Like, parts of the station are really nice,
And some parts are a complete shithole.
Yeah, it's obvious TfL just don't care about this station.
No, not really.
All.
The other station, though, they've done a really good job making it look nice.
Yeah.
This station's just a little bit, it's a little bit run down, not very well looked after. It's not as nice. There's no signal box or loads of greenery. It's not.
It's very bare.
It's kind of like a bare bone station, which they kind of took on and just haven't shown much dedication or effort towards maintaining.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel they've maintained the bare bones to make it somewhat legal, but...
And they've, maintained some of the, original architecture and everything. They've made it somewhat nice. There are some really nice parts of it. The underpass is nice, and the general architecture of the station is really nice. It's just the station itself is in a state of complete disrepair, and it's really upsetting to see, because it could be beautiful.
It could be. I think this is one of the cases where you almost wish that this station was taken on by Chiltern.
Yeah.
Unlike back at, I can't pronounce the name properly, where we were before, if Chiltern took over, they would probably neglect it. But Dickmansworth, whatever. That station and this station are two stations, I believe, which TfL should have done better with maintaining.
The architecture is really nice, but the rest of the station is just completely run down. And it's such a shame.
Yeah.
Because it could be so nice. This is why, again, it would probably get done up like Rickmansworth would, because the area around is quite an urban area. With Chorleywood, not that urban at all.
No.
So that's why it would sort of be neglected by Chiltern. So there are positives and negatives to having this on the underground. I think this station is definitely one of the negatives, because it's a shame to see such a beautiful station fall into the state of disrepair. But something like Chorleywood, yeah, very good positive to have it on the underground.
Very good.
Anyway, so we're getting a train to Chesham now, and...
Oh, we'll see what Chesham's like.
Yeah, Chesham is a sort of oddball branch of the underground, so it'll be interesting to go on that branch. It'll be interesting to see what the station is like, so let's fuck off to Chesham. And we're at Chesham, and we don't have long here since we have to get back on this train. And
This is probably the nicest station on the Met line.
Oh, it is
it's
gorgeous.
Really quiet. One platform, we've got Dishy's platform there. Really nice station building down there. Single track line. This whole Spurs single track line is absolutely brilliant. It's one of the few single track Spurs on the London Underground network, which is outside of London.
And it's just gorgeous. The station is beautifully kept. Everything is really nice. There's a lot of foliage around the station. It's just a really, really, really nice station. And again, this doesn't feel like London Underground. I definitely don't feel this should be on the Underground. This should be handed back to Chiltern.
Definitely.
Definitely.
However, I can't see Chiltern running a service to here though. Like,
No.
I think the London Underground barely survives running a service here. I think if
Yeah.
Chiltern took it, they'd probably close it.
Yeah, but still, it feels like Chiltern should just run this service.
Is another one of them. If Beeching had it, he would have axed it.
Oh,
stations.
definitely.
So,
Anyway, we're going to get back on that train, head towards Cheltenham, Latimer, and finish off at Amersham. So, we will see you there.
yeah, right, come on, let's fuck off. Right, so as you see behind me, we've decided that due to an extension of our visit, we are now going to explore the surrounding neighbourhood of Chowton and Latimer. And we've discovered that there is a pub, the Metropolitan, which now almost immediately adds 5 points. I'm joking. It adds 1 or 2 points to the score of this station. I take back some of what I said about the station being a little bit shit. There's a pub within 300 yards of the station. Why would I want any more than this? There's also a coffee shop for the people that don't like alcohol, also known as pussies.
And we're at Amersham, which is the end of the line for the Metropolitan line section.
But not the end of the line for Chiltern.
No, so this line continues on towards Aylesbury, where then you can get a train to Princess Risborough and go up the Great Central Main Line. But this is what we're concerned about, this station here. And this is Amersham, which, again, while it doesn't feel like a rural branch line station per se, it does feel like a sort of rural junction station, if you get what I mean.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Yeovil Pen Mill, but in Buckinghamshire.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of a signal box over there, but it looks awful.
Yeah.
Very industrial. Also, must reiterate, this is not, or this was never the original planned terminus for the Met Line, was it?
No, it wasn't. No.
So,
originally the Met Line went all the way through to Aylesbury,
which Aylesbury Station shares this very similar design concept as it was built the same era. It retains its original roofing.
Yep.
You can see the are they called fascias? Whatever, the wooden bits.
Yeah.
It's all kept somewhat in good nick. You've got the old footbridge there.
Yep.
And then you've actually got a slightly more modern footbridge that was installed afterwards, which you can see, which is this big red ugly
thing,
fugly looking thing here.
Yeah, which they've tried to put it in the colour scheme of the station, it just doesn't work.
No, it looks pretty shit.
And you've also got a modern lift shaft, which again just sort of looks out of place.
Very out of place, however, they needed to add it to meet with accessibility regulations.
So, that's all good and dandy as long as you meet the accessibility regulations. then it's fine. And it doesn't really ruin the facade of the station since, let's be honest, you can't really see it because when you walk out onto the station, you first notice the canopy, which is really nice. And most of the station is really nice and kept in decently okay condition. I'd like to think Chiltern would probably take more care of it though.
Well, that's another thing. We don't actually know how, well, I don't know personally how Chiltern have maintained Aylesbury. And that's one thing. So that's maybe something we can do at a later date, is see how former tube stations have been looked after since being cut back.
We can do a part 2 of this video exploring the former tube section of the line.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to see how Chiltern have managed Aylesbury in Aylesbury Vale Parkway or whatever, if that, whatever. And there's plenty of other stations that were formerly on the tube network, which are now no longer on the tube network. Obviously, that includes the Epping and Ongar and all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
I've just called a Heritage Railway bullshit.
Okay.
Unintentionally. It's a nice little railway.
Yes,
I've been there.
No bias.
This has been a rather eventful day out. We've been running quite tight to time every now and then.
Yep.
And despite...
Oh, Harrow-On-The-Hill.
Yeah, Harrow-On-The-Hill. Between Harrow-On-The-Hill and somewhere else, the Met line has been closed, so it's been really bloody difficult to do this bit of the video.
Yeah, between Harrow-On-The-Hill and pretty much Aldgate. Because the only trains that were running within the central London core were H&C trains running to Barking. So Met line itself is only running between Harrow-On-The-Hill now and Amersham, which is kind of like, while okay, yes, you can get the Chiltern train into London, so I guess that's okay. It's still just like, what has gone wrong today?
Well, we also must not stress the fact that our Chiltern train between Marylebone and Harrow-On-Hill did spad 3 times due to the signalling errors with the London Underground signalling.
I can see our Chiltern class 168 coming back.
Oh, we got a 168.
We've got a 168.
We need to be on the other fucking platform pretty
we do.
quickly. So anyway, so that's been a great video, etc.
Etc. Yeah, fuckity bye.
Yeah. Oh look, it's the gay one. The gay one.